Michael John Avenatti was born in 1971 in Sacramento, California. During his childhood, he lived in Colorado and Utah. In 1982, his family moved to Chesterfield, Missouri. His father worked as a manager for Anheuser-Busch. Avenatti went to Parkway Central High School. After that, he studied political science at the University of Pennsylvania and graduated in 1996. He later earned a law degree from George Washington University Law School. Avenatti became widely known in 2018 when he represented adult film actress Stormy Daniels in a lawsuit involving Donald Trump. Avenatti's aggressive media strategy, including frequent appearances on major news networks, made him a prominent and controversial figure in U.S. political and legal discussions at the time. In 2019, Avenatti got into serious legal trouble. He tried to pressure Nike into paying up to $25 million. He said he would release damaging information about the company if they didn't agree to pay him and his client. In 2020, a court found him guilty of trying to take money through threats and of acting dishonestly in his legal duties. That wasn't the only case against him. He was also found guilty of taking nearly $300,000 that belonged to his client, Stormy Daniels. The money came from her book deal, but Avenatti redirected it into his own account without telling her. In 2022, Avenatti admitted in court that he took millions of dollars from 4 of his other clients. One of them was a man who was paralyzed. Avenatti also blocked the IRS from collecting payroll taxes from a coffee company he owned. For all of these cases, he was sentenced to a total of 19 years in federal prison. This includes the sentence for the Nike case, the stolen funds from Stormy Daniels, and the money taken from other clients. He was also ordered to pay back $7 million. On February 5th, he lost his license to practice law in the state of California. Avenatti is currently serving his sentence at the Federal Correctional Institution on Terminal Island. If there are no changes to his sentence, he is expected to be released in September 2035. Avenatti's fall from TV fame to a 19-year sentence made headlines. What about the lawyer once known as Trump's fixer, who also landed in prison? Michael Dean Cohen was born in 1966 in Lawrence, New York. He grew up in a Jewish household. His mother worked as a nurse. His father, who survived the Holocaust, was a surgeon. Cohen went to Woodmere Academy for school. He later earned a Bachelor of Arts degree from American University in 1988. After that, he got his law degree from Thomas M. Cooley Law School in 1991. Cohen started working with Donald Trump in 2006 when he joined the Trump Organization. Over time, he became known as Trump's personal lawyer. Many referred to him as Trump's fixer because he handled difficult and sensitive matters. He was involved in many parts of Trump's business, including real estate deals and legal issues. Between 2012 and 2016, Cohen broke several laws. He hid more than $4 million in personal income. Because of this, he avoided paying over $1.3 million in taxes. He also gave false information to a bank that is federally insured. This was done to get a $500,000 home equity loan. In 2016, Cohen arranged payments to 2 women. These payments were made so the women would not share information about their alleged personal experiences with Donald Trump. The goal was to keep the information from coming out before the presidential election and to avoid any impact on Trump's campaign. In August 2018, Cohen admitted in court to 8 different charges. These included hiding income from the government, lying to a bank, and breaking rules related to election funding. He also said that the payments to the 2 women were made under Trump's direction and that the purpose was to affect the outcome of the 2016 election. In November 2018, Cohen admitted to another charge. This time, it was about lying to Congress. He gave false details about a proposed plan to build Trump Tower in Moscow. On December 12, 2018, U.S. District Judge William H. Pauley III gave Cohen a 3-year prison sentence. He also had to pay a $50,000 fine. The judge said Cohen had helped with the special counsel's investigation, but still stressed how serious his actions were. At the hearing, Cohen said he regretted what he had done. He told the court, "I take full responsibility for each act that I pled guilty to. The personal ones to me, and those involving the President of the United States of America. Cohen began serving his sentence in May 2019 at a federal facility in Otisville, New York. He completed his sentence and was released in November 2021. After getting out, Cohen spoke out against Trump. He wrote a book titled Disloyal, a memoir where he shared what it was like working with Trump. He also started a podcast called Mea Culpa, where he talks about politics and legal issues. Next is a member of a legal dynasty whose own actions destroyed his entire family and career. Alex Murdo was born in 1968 in Hampton, South Carolina. He came from a well-known family with deep roots in the legal world. His father, Randolph Murdo III, served as the top prosecutor for South Carolina's 14th Judicial Circuit. This position had been held by 3 generations of the Murdo family, starting in 1920 and lasting until 2006. Alex followed in their footsteps. He earned his law degree from the University of South Carolina in 1994. After that, he joined the well-established law firm Peters, Murdo, Parker, Eltsroth, and Dietrich, known as PMPED. In 1993, he married Margaret Maggie Kennedy Branstetter. The couple had 2 sons, Richard Buster, Murdo Jr., and Paul Murdo. In June 2021, everything changed. On the evening of June 7th, Alex's wife Maggie, who was 52, and their 22-year-old son Paul were found with fatal gunshot wounds at the family's hunting property in Colleton County, South Carolina. The case quickly made headlines across the country. The Murdo family's reputation in the legal field drew even more attention. As the investigation unfolded, authorities began to uncover a string of financial wrongdoing connected to Alex. He was accused of taking large sums of money through embezzlement, fraud, and other forms of financial deception. These acts involved both his clients and his own law firm, and the amount stolen added up to millions of dollars. Prosecutors argued that Alex had taken the lives of his wife and son to draw attention away from his financial problems. They also said he may have hoped to gain sympathy. Investigators believed the act was planned and that Alex tried to make it look like he wasn't involved. Digital evidence, including phone data and video clips, placed Alex at the scene not long before the shootings happened. The trial started in January 2023 at the Colleton County Courthouse. Prosecutors focused on the gaps in Alex's story. They also shared forensic evidence that tied him to the scene. One major moment in the trial was when a video, taken by Paul shortly before he lost his life, was played in court. In the background of that video, Alex's voice could be clearly heard. This contradicted his earlier claim that he wasn't nearby when the incident occurred. The defense tried to raise doubts about the evidence and suggested other possibilities, but the jury did not agree. After less than 3 hours of discussion, they found Alex guilty on all counts. On March 3, 2023, Judge Clifton Newman sentenced Alex Murdo to 2 life sentences, one after the other, without the chance for parole. The judge pointed to the strong evidence and described the acts as extremely serious. After sentencing, Alex was taken to Kurland Correctional Institution in Columbia, South Carolina, where he began serving his time. As of May 2025, Alex Murdo is still at the Kurland facility. He continues to face more legal issues, including appeals related to the case and more charges connected to his financial activities. His story has sparked nationwide conversations about power, justice, and how people in the legal field are held accountable. Now meet the attorney whose fraud cost the Social Security system over $500 million and vanished before justice could catch him. Eric Christopher Kahn was born in 1960 in Pikeville, Kentucky. He grew up in a family with a long history in the legal field. He went to Betsy Lane High School, where he did well in school and joined several activities. After finishing high school in 1978, he went on to Morehead State University. He got his bachelor's degree in 1982. Then he attended Ohio Northern University College of Law in Ada, Ohio, and earned his law degree in 1987. Kahn started his legal career by focusing on Social Security disability cases. He quickly became known for being successful and flashy. He advertised heavily, buying billboards and running ads on radio and TV. He even called himself Mr. Social Security. In the 1990s and 2000s, he became one of the most well-known disability lawyers in the country. He ran a busy and profitable law firm in Stanville, Kentucky. He worked with clients from all over the United States. Between 2004 and 2016, Cohen was behind a massive scheme that cost the Social Security Administration, SSA, about $550 million. He submitted thousands of fake medical records. These records were written by doctors who took money from Cohen in exchange for creating false reports. Many of the people listed in the documents had never been seen by these doctors. The claims were then sent to a judge named David B. Daugherty. This judge took $609,000 from Cohen to approve claims that didn't meet the proper standards. This setup helped Cohen collect millions in fees from both the SSA and his clients. The scheme started falling apart in 2011 after the Wall Street Journal published a report exposing Cohen's actions. This led to an investigation by the U.S. Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs. In March 2017, Cohen admitted to taking government money he wasn't entitled to and giving illegal payments. He was placed under house arrest while waiting for his sentence. But in June 2017, he cut off his ankle monitor and disappeared. Cohen spent 6 months hiding from authorities. He was finally caught in La Ceiba, Honduras, and brought back to the U.S. In September 2018, he was sentenced to 27 years in federal prison for the scheme. He also got an extra 15 years for running away and for planning to get back at a Social Security employee who'd reported his actions. Cohen is now being held at FCY Fort Dix in New Jersey. He is expected to be released in November 2039. His actions affected thousands of people, especially in eastern Kentucky. Around 1,700 of his former clients had to go through hearings again to try to get their benefits back. Almost half of them lost those benefits. Out of those, about 230 later had their payments restored through court orders. A new agreement with the Social Security Administration now allows about 500 former clients to request a new hearing. If they win, they may receive payments for the years they missed. The case brought major attention to how Social Security disability claims were being handled. It led to changes meant to improve the system and make it harder for anyone to take advantage of it. Many of Cohen's former clients went through serious financial struggles while their claims were reviewed. In 2022, Apple TV Plus released a multi-part documentary called The Big Con. It looked at Cohen's scheme in detail and showed how his actions impacted the people involved. Stay tuned for the story of a New York lawyer whose forged promissory notes fooled hedge funds and ended with a 20-year sentence, until a presidential clemency changed his fate. Mark Stewart Drier was born in 1950 in Long Island, New York. He grew up in the well-off Five Towns area. His father was a Polish immigrant who came to the United States in 1939. At first, his father worked at the New York World's Fair. Later, he opened a chain of movie theaters in Manhattan and Long Island. Drier did well in school. He was head of the student council at Lawrence High School and was voted most likely to succeed. He went on to study at Yale University and graduated in 1972. Then, he attended Harvard Law School and finished in 1975. After law school, Drier worked at top law firms where he became skilled in courtroom work. In 1996, he started his own firm, Drier LLP. It eventually employed more than 270 lawyers. But things changed when Drier got involved in a large financial scam. He created and sold fake promissory notes to hedge funds. He told them these notes were backed by well-known companies, but that wasn't true. Over 4 years, Drier took about $380 million from investors using this scheme. He did this to keep up a lavish lifestyle. He owned luxury homes, a yacht, and collected expensive artwork. To keep things going, he faked documents and even pretended to be other people so investors would trust him. Eventually, the situation began to fall apart. Some hedge fund managers started to ask questions and became suspicious. Drier was finally caught when he went to Toronto and tried to pretend he was a lawyer for a Canadian pension fund. This led to his arrest. In May 2009, Drier admitted in court that he was guilty of 8 federal charges. These included fraud involving securities, using wire transfers to support the scheme, and hiding money. His actions added up to more than $950 million in fake note sales. On July 13, 2009, a judge sentenced him to 20 years in federal prison. The judge said Drier had seriously broken the trust of both clients and investors. His law firm fell apart after his arrest. Drier stayed in custody while waiting for his sentence to begin. On December 12, 2024, President Joe Biden reduced Drier's sentence as part of a larger move to shorten sentences for certain federal inmates. Drier had been expected to leave FCI Sandstone on June 30, 2025, but he was released earlier because of the sentence reduction. As of May 2025, Drier is no longer in prison. The next individual was trusted by millionaires. But behind the scenes, something dark was happening. Before we move on, if you enjoy this type of content, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content. Jason Kurland was an attorney based in New York. He became well known for working with people who had won large lottery prizes. He helped them manage their finances and offered legal advice. Some of his clients were among the biggest lottery winners in the country, but things changed when serious accusations were made against him. In 2020, federal officials charged Kurland and 3 others, Christopher Chirchio, Francis Smukler, and Francesco Russo, with taking part in a dishonest scheme. They were accused of secretly taking money from the very lottery winners they were supposed to help. According to the case, Kurland used his position to guide his clients into investing in certain companies. What they didn't know was that Kurland had personal ties to those businesses. He was receiving illegal payments from those companies behind the scenes. Altogether, the people who trusted him lost over $107 million. Kurland's reason for doing this seemed to be personal financial gain. He broke the trust of his clients by making decisions that helped him instead of helping them. He hid his connections to these companies and took advantage of the fact that his clients relied on his advice. What he did went against both legal rules and basic ethics. In July 2022, Kurland was found guilty of several serious charges. These included wire fraud, misuse of honest services, money laundering, and planning with others to commit these acts. During the trial, it became clear that he used his legal skills not to protect people, but to trick them out of their money. On June 15, 2023, U.S. District Judge Nicholas G. Garaufis sentenced Kurland to 13 years in federal prison. In addition to the prison time, he was ordered to give up $64.6 million and pay $73.4 million in restitution to the people he harmed. At that time, Kurland was 45 years old. Calvin Curtis is a 61-year-old estate planning attorney from Salt Lake City. He was given a federal prison sentence of 97 months after taking over $12.7 million from 26 of his clients. Many of them were elderly, had disabilities, or were not able to make decisions for themselves. These people trusted Curtis to handle their special needs. Trusts, but he used that trust to access and take their money. Curtis started doing this in January 2008. His reason was clear. He wanted the money for himself. He used the money to support a wealthy lifestyle. He paid off the mortgage for both his house and office in Salt Lake City. He also used the money to travel often, buy tickets to football and basketball games, and give expensive gifts. He even spent $135,000 to fix up a home in Tampa, Florida. To hide what he was doing, Curtis made fake financial records. He then gave these fake documents to court-appointed conservators, hoping they wouldn't notice what was going on. In November 2021, Curtis admitted in court that he had committed wire fraud and had handled money illegally. During his sentencing in April 2022, U.S. District Judge David Barlow refused a lighter, 73-month prison term. He said it wasn't enough considering how serious the situation was. Judge Barlow called Curtis's actions cold-blooded and carefully planned. He gave him a 97-month prison sentence and ordered 3 more years of supervised release after that. Curtis was also told to pay back $12,779,496 to the people he took money from. The harm Curtis caused was deep and personal. One victim, Sherry McConkey, said Curtis took more than $12 million from her mother-in-law, Glenn McConkey. Glenn has Alzheimer's and dementia. Curtis convinced her to change her will. He had her make him the trustee and remove her only granddaughter from the inheritance. Sherry said she couldn't believe someone would do that to a woman in such a vulnerable condition. Curtis betrayed clients who depended on him for care and funds. But what about the personal injury lawyer who secretly drained over $500,000 from his own clients' settlements? PD Leech was born in 1961 in Providence, Rhode Island. He earned a Bachelor of Science degree from American University in 1983 and a Juris Doctor from Antioch School of Law in 1988. That same year, he was admitted to the Rhode Island Bar and the U.S. District Court for the District of Rhode Island. Leech began his legal career as an Assistant Attorney General in Rhode Island, serving from 1988 to 1992. Between 2014 and 2019, Leech started secretly taking money from his clients. He took more than $500,000 from settlements that should have gone to them. He forged their signatures on checks and put the money into accounts that lawyers use to temporarily hold client funds. Instead of giving the money to the clients, he spent it on himself. He used the stolen money to pay for private school tuition, country club memberships, trips, and expensive meals. To keep anyone from noticing, he lied to his clients about what was happening with their cases. He told them their medical bills and other costs would be covered, even though he had already spent their money. He also tried to hide this money from the IRS. He took out over $540,000 in cash from the accounts and used it for personal expenses. Some of it was moved to accounts under family members' names, so it would be harder to trace. When speaking with the IRS, he gave false information about his finances and claimed he couldn't afford to pay his taxes. Everything points to money being the main reason for what he did. He took advantage of his clients' trust so he could live a more luxurious life. The money wasn't used for anything related to his job as a lawyer. In August 2023, Leech admitted to what he did. He pleaded guilty to charges that involved lying through electronic communication and not paying taxes. He admitted to forging signatures, taking money from client settlements, and using it for himself. He also admitted to hiding what he did from the IRS and moving money to family members' accounts. On January 16, 2025, U.S. District Court Judge Leo T. Sorokin gave him a sentence of 33 months in federal prison. That's about 2 years and 9 months. After prison, he'll be supervised for 2 more years. He also has to pay back $299,774.41 to his clients and $320,622.76 to the IRS for unpaid taxes. The next individual built his career on immigration law, then used it to betray the very people counting on him. Kofo Amangqua was born in 1955. He was originally from Ghana and immigrated to the United States. He was admitted to practice law in New York and operated an immigration law office at 881 Girard Avenue in the Bronx from at least 2018. Most of his clients were immigrants looking for help to stay in the country legally. Between September 2016 and November 2023, Amangqua ran a major immigration scam. He told his clients to sign fake Form 1360 petitions under a law known as the Violence Against Women Act, VAWA. These forms claimed that the clients had been mistreated by their U.S. citizen children or other relatives. But the clients had no idea these claims were being made on their behalf. In many cases, they never even gave permission. Amangqua submitted these forms to U.S. immigration officials. He did this under oath, even though the information was false. This allowed him to help clients apply for permanent resident status using dishonest methods. The VAWA program is supposed to help non-citizens who have gone through serious family mistreatment. It gives them a chance to get legal status in the U.S. But Amangqua misused this system. His actions not only broke the law, but also took resources away from people who truly needed help. He seemed mainly focused on making money. He charged each client between $3,000 and $6,000, along with other fees. Even though the petitions were fake, he kept collecting large payments from each case. Because of what he did, some of his clients were forced to leave the country, and others had their immigration cases put at serious risk. In September 2024, Amangqua admitted he was guilty of immigration fraud. On February 26, 2025, he was sentenced to nearly 6 years in federal prison by Judge Catherine Polk-Failla. The court also ordered him to give up $13.4 million and pay $16.5 million to the people who were harmed by his actions. That money is meant to help those who suffered because of what he did. After many clients started reporting the false claims, Amangqua's law license in New York was suspended in November 2023. He was permanently banned from practicing law in August 2024. On top of that, the New York State Attorney General took legal action against Amangqua, his son, and others who worked with him. That civil case is still ongoing. What secret was the next quiet attorney hiding? One worth hundreds of thousands. Herbert Warren Kbach was born in 1921 in Port Huron, Michigan. He grew up in a humble household. When he was 12 years old, he lost his father, which was a difficult time for him. During World War II, he served as a Navy aviator. He was active in both the Atlantic and Pacific regions. After the war, he focused on his education. He earned a business degree in 1949 and then a law degree in 1951 from the University of Southern California. While studying there, he met Robert H. Finch. Finch would later become the Lieutenant Governor of California and a close advisor to Richard Nixon. Their friendship pulled Kbach into the world of politics. In the 1950s, Kbach started helping with Nixon's political campaigns. He supported Nixon during the 1960 presidential race and again in 1968. After Nixon won the 1968 election, Kbach was offered a government position as Undersecretary of Commerce. He turned it down. Instead, he chose to stay close to Nixon by becoming his personal attorney. This move helped his law firm grow and attract big corporate clients. Kbach's name became widely known during the Watergate scandal. He was involved in collecting money in ways that didn't follow the rules. The funds were secretly gathered from both companies and private individuals to help support Nixon's re-election campaign. When Kbach testified before the Senate Watergate Committee, he admitted to raising $220,000. This money was used to pay for the legal defense of 7 individuals who were facing charges tied to the Watergate case. The funds came from Nixon's campaign officials and other donations. This included $75,000 from Maurice H. Stans, who had been the Secretary of Commerce and chaired the finance team for Nixon's campaign. Another $70,000 came from Frederick C. LaRue, who worked closely with former Attorney General John Mitchell. A final $75,000 came from Thomas V. Pappas, a businessman from California. Because of his role in these activities, Kbach had to face legal consequences. He was found guilty of breaking fundraising laws. He was sentenced to 6 months and spent 191 days in federal custody. He also had to pay a $10,000 fine. His license to practice law was taken away for a while, but he got it back in 1978. After that, he worked as of counsel at the law firm Baker Hostetler. In 1948, he married Barbara Forbush, who had once been a Rose Bowl princess. They had 3 children together, Kenneth, Lauren, and Kurt. Sadly, Kenneth passed away in 1980. Barbara later passed away in 2005. After all his legal issues, Kbach stayed mostly out of the spotlight. He died on September 15, 2017, in Newport Beach, California. He was 95 years old. Lev Parnes was born in 1972 in Odessa, Ukraine, which was then part of the Soviet Union. When he was 3 years old, his family moved to the United States. They first settled in Detroit, but later moved to Brooklyn, New York. Parnes briefly attended Brooklyn College and Baruch College, but he left to pursue business opportunities. He worked in real estate and eventually moved to Florida. There, he became involved in several business ventures. In 2013, he co-founded a company called Fraud Guarantee, after already starting Global Energy Producers. Parnes faced serious legal trouble related to campaign finance violations and fraud. Along with his associate Igor Fruman, he was involved in a scheme to funnel foreign money into U.S. political campaigns using their company, Global Energy Producers. Prosecutors said these contributions were made in an effort to gain influence and further personal business interests. In a separate case, Parnes misled investors in his company, Fraud Guarantee. He claimed it would help protect people from financial scams, but he instead used investor funds for personal expenses and political contributions. He was later convicted and sentenced for these offenses. Parnes was arrested on October 9, 2019, at Dulles International Airport. He was attempting to leave for Frankfurt, Germany, with a one-way ticket. He faced multiple charges, including conspiracy to defraud the United States, making false statements, and falsifying records. During his trial, prosecutors presented evidence showing Parnes's illegal activities. This included using foreign funds to make political donations and defrauding investors. The court found him guilty on several counts, leading to his sentencing. In June 2022, Parnes was sentenced to 20 months in prison. The U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York stated, "Parnes will now serve time in prison for his crimes. Not only did he deceive investors in his business, Fraud Guarantee, out of more than $2 million, but he also misled the American public by using foreign money in U.S. elections and lying about where the funds came from." At his sentencing, Parnes expressed regret for his actions. He said, "I want to apologize to all the people I hurt. These are people I considered friends, people who trusted me, and I lied to them to serve my own interests." Christopher John Pettit was once a well-known attorney in San Antonio, Texas. He focused on estate planning, probate, and personal injury law. Through his firm, Chris Pettit and Associates, he built a strong reputation. Many people trusted him with their finances and legal matters. But behind that image, Pettit was hiding something serious. Over the course of about 20 years, he was secretly moving his clients' money into his own accounts. He used that money to pay for a very expensive lifestyle. The truth started to come out when clients noticed their money wasn't where it was supposed to be. Investigators looked into it and found that Pettit had been running a scheme similar to a Ponzi setup. He used funds from new clients to cover what he owed to earlier ones, all while taking money for himself. The total amount of money mishandled was massive. Pettit had taken funds that were meant for trusts, investments, and property deals. The losses were estimated to be between $20 million and $65 million. In total, creditors filed claims for about $259 million. In October 2023, Pettit admitted in court that he had committed wire fraud and had moved large amounts of money illegally. In February 2024, U.S. District Judge Orlando Garcia gave him a 50-year sentence in federal prison. The court also ordered him to pay back over $100 million to nearly 100 people who had trusted him with their finances. At first, Pettit was held at the Karnes County Detention Facility. In April 2025, he was moved to the U.S. Penitentiary in Leavenworth, Kansas. This is a medium-security prison where many well-known inmates are held. Even after being sentenced, Pettit has been trying to challenge his prison time. He has filed legal motions asking for his release based on health concerns and other reasons. The effects of what he did reached beyond just money. In July 2022, his younger brother, Charles Joseph Pettit, took his own life. Charles was not involved in any of the financial wrongdoing. William S. Lirac was born in 1946 in the Ohio River Valley. He earned both his college degree and his law degree from the University of Pittsburgh. Early in his career, he built a reputation for being tough in court and for winning big settlements for his clients. He helped secure a $7.12 billion payout in the Enron Securities case, the largest recovery in U.S. history at that time. His skill in handling group lawsuits gained him respect among other lawyers. In 1998, President Bill Clinton appointed him to the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Council. He also played a key role in ending R.J. Reynolds's Joe Camel advertising. His firm, Milberg Weiss, became known for going after large corporations. But things changed when Lirac and his firm got involved in a hidden payment plan. Between 1984 and 2006, Milberg Weiss paid about $11.3 million to people who agreed to be the named lead plaintiffs in more than 150 group lawsuits and shareholder suits. Those plaintiffs were told they'd receive 10% of the lawyer's fees in return. The firm kept these payments secret from the courts and made untrue statements under oath to cover them up. Lara was at the center of this plan. He set up the secret payments himself and encouraged other lawyers to do the same. This practice let Milberg Weiss always have someone ready to file suit, often against major companies like AT&T, Lucent Technologies, and WorldCom. In October 2007, Lara pleaded guilty to a single count of conspiring to hide the truth and to making false statements under oath. Under his plea deal, he gave up $7.75 million, paid a $250,000 penalty, and faced up to 2 years in custody. On February 11, 2008, U.S. District Judge John F. Walter sentenced him to 2 years in federal custody. He also ordered 2 years of supervised release and 1,000 hours of community service. The judge said the scheme had corrupted the law firm in the worst way. At his sentencing hearing, Lara told the court, "I knew what I was doing was wrong." His voice shook as he added, "My actions were completely unacceptable for anyone, especially a lawyer." After he left custody in March 2010, Lara kept a low profile. He was disbarred in California in 2009. In interviews since then, he has expressed regret for his choices and for the harm they caused. He's also suggested that politics may have influenced when prosecutors brought charges against him. Stephen Yagman was born in 1944 in Brooklyn, New York. He grew up in a working-class family. His father made dental appliances and his mother worked as a secretary. He studied American history at Long Island University and earned his BA there. Next, he went to New York University and took an MA in philosophy. After that, he earned a JD from Fordham University School of Law. While still in law school, he worked as an intern for the New York City Legal Aid Society. He learned from Charles Gary, who was the lawyer for the Black Panther Party, and from U.S. Attorney General Ramsey Clark. Once he graduated, he became a special assistant attorney general in New York. In that job, he focused on cases where nursing home residents were being mistreated. Yagman then made his name by taking on police agencies over their improper actions. He handled over 200 federal cases about civil rights. He also argued more than 150 appeals, even bringing some issues before the U.S. Supreme Court. Later, problems arose in his own finances. In 2006, a federal grand jury brought 19 charges against him. They said he did not report or pay all of his taxes from 1994 to 1997, owing more than $158,000. They also said he hid assets by transferring the deed of his Venice Beach home to his partner, K.D. Maddox, and by putting his earnings into her bank account. He then paid himself with checks from that account. He filed for bankruptcy in New York, but did not list his California assets. Soon after, he spent $2,000 on clothing and shoes on Madison Avenue and had a $260 dinner. In 2007, his trial lasted 20 days. The jury found him guilty on every count. The judge later dropped 6 of the money laundering charges. At his sentencing, Yagman spoke for a long time. He quoted writers like Franz Kafka and thinkers like Socrates. He said, "A cage went in search of a bird. I'm the bird, and they got me." U.S. District Judge Stephen Four Wilson gave him 3 years in federal prison and 2 years of supervised release. This was much less than the 9 years the prosecutors had asked for. The judge said Yagman's testimony had been clearly not true in many areas. Yagman served 29 months in federal prison. After his release, he worked as a paralegal and taught law for 11 years. In 2021, at age 76, he passed the California bar exam again and was allowed back to practice law.